California had a rule that schools cannot be required to notify parents if their kids in school have changed their gender, their pronouns. That's the kind of thing, even though it doesn't affect a lot of people, that makes a lot of people go, well, you know what, that's the party without common sense. Now, if that's your state, how are you... Well,
I just disagree with that. I mean, the law was you would be fired, a teacher would be fired if a teacher did not report or snitch on a kid talking about their gender identity. I just think that was wrong. I think teachers should teach. I don't think they should be required to turn in kids. And by the way,
we're talking about their parents. How can you snitch? The idea of a snitch and a parent, to me, doesn't compare.
Bill Maher didn't ease into it. He went straight for the jugular. Live on air, no filter, no cushioning, he confronted Gavin Newsom with a blunt accusation. California is slipping fast, and everyone can feel it. Homelessness, crushing taxes, rising crime, mass exits. Maher laid it all out without blinking. But the moment turned explosive when Newsom admitted something unexpected, that even inside the Democratic Party, cracks are starting to show. This wasn't a normal late-night exchange. It felt like a reckoning. Social media lit up instantly because Maher wasn't ranting. He was channeling the frustration of everyday Californians. The Golden State glow, gone. In its place, sky-high living costs, disorder, and a sense that the system is breaking down. Once praised as the crown jewel of progressive politics, California now feels more like a cautionary tale. Under Newsom's leadership, homelessness has surged past 180,000, highest in the nation, despite billions spent on programs that rarely deliver visible results.
Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelinos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon.
Cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Oakland have become living proof of decline. Industry giants, Tesla, Oracle, Hewlett-Packard, have fled the state, heading for Texas and Nevada, with workers and families right behind them. Crime has escalated so badly that stores now lock up everyday items or shut down entirely. And then there's the tax squeeze. California's top income tax, 13.3%, the highest in America, has even loyal liberals questioning the deal. Maher, a longtime LA resident, has openly mocked the absurdity, paying elite-level taxes while dodging potholes and stepping over sidewalk tents. For months, he's warned that the progressive dream has curdled into something detached from reality. That was the atmosphere when Newsom stepped onto the set, ready to defend his record. He pointed to GDP growth, Silicon Valley innovation, and climate leadership. Maher wasn't impressed.
Stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about, and this one I think says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's silly? Do you think that's a silly thing that we too much government there?
That's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that. And they were the ones making a case for that. They were making a case they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support.
This wasn't a conservative ambush. It was a liberal holding another liberal accountable. Commentators didn't even call it an interview. They called it an intervention. When Maher leaned forward and said, "You're running the state everyone's leaving," the room changed instantly. No jokes. No easing in. Just truth. Newsom pushed back, claiming California still leads in jobs and creativity, brushing off the exodus as political spin. Maher cut him off cold. "This isn't Fox News, Gavin. I'm talking about my friends. My neighbors." He painted a vivid picture: tents, danger, decay. When Newsom spoke about compassion and reform, Maher sliced through it. You've been in charge for years, and it's worse. The audience didn't clap. They quietly agreed. Maher then broke down the tax math with surgical precision. Middle-class earners are taxed like millionaires, he said, yet get crumbling infrastructure and rising crime in return. Buzzwords like equity and investment didn't land. Maher asked the question that cut deepest. How can you brag about growth when people can't live with dignity? This stopped being politics. It became about survival.
I feel like this country is divided into owners and healers. People think you can own the other side. Yeah, well, Gavin Newsom owned DeSantis. Yeah. DeSantis destroyed Gavin Newsom. Yeah. Or people who want to talk and heal. And I feel like the next president's going to be, at least if it comes from this party, the Democratic Party, someone who wants to talk and heal.
It's important. Democrats, we tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. This notion of cancel culture, you've been living it. You've been on the receiving end of it for years and years and years. That's real. And Democrats need to own up to that. They've got to...
Maher delivered the coldest truth of the night. Every person who leaves California takes the tax base with them. Fewer taxpayers means fewer social programs. Progressive ideals can't survive without funding. Newsom pivoted to green energy, tech leadership, and moral vision. Maher nodded, then ended it. I love this state. But when everyone's moved to Austin and the lights are off, who are you leading? Silence. No applause. Just impact. Even loyal Democrats online admitted the moment hit hard because it wasn't partisan, it was personal. Maher became the voice of the disillusioned progressive, someone who still believes in the ideals but refuses to excuse incompetence. This wasn't just television. It was power being confronted in real time.
Looking bad there for a while, and we still don't have enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff. Yeah. And then whenever I read, 80% of the water goes to agriculture. Almonds. Right. No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds. We grow a boatload of almonds.
I'm well
here.
aware.
You know how much water it takes?
Many gallons.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Yeah. Come on, man. Take on big almond.
Newsom shifted into campaign mode. Smooth, polished, confident. It sounded good. Too good. Maher wasn't buying it. Newsom leaned on two defenses. California's problems prove its success, and critics ignore its economic dominance. He rattled off stats, GDP, renewables, venture capital. Maher barely reacted. People don't live off GDP, he said. They live off reality. The room laughed, then groaned. Newsom searched for a comeback. None came. Maher dropped the verdict. You can't brag about saving the planet if you can't save San Francisco. The applause was hesitant, but real. This wasn't a right-wing attack. It was a liberal calling out hypocrisy from inside the House.
I feel like the last couple of years you've purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the DeSantis. Yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what? Well, but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, oh, this is a blue state and that's a red state, and I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. It's been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just in this.
Newsom called the chaos growing pains. Maher's face said otherwise. You've had years. You've had billions. Where's the result? For a split second, confidence gave way to defense. Maher leaned in. You call it bold leadership. I call it mismanagement with good PR. Gasps echoed. The line landed because everyone stuck in traffic, standing in DMV lines, or dodging potholes knew it was true. Newsom joked, comparing Maher to Sean Hannity. Maher fired back instantly. Hannity roots for your failure. I live here. The crowd erupted. The interview had flipped. Maher wasn't hosting anymore. He was cross-examining.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So you think that's silly? You think that's a silly thing that we too much government there?
That's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that, and they were the ones making a case for that. They're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know the top priorities are homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues.
Newsom came to repair California's image. Instead, he became the symbol of its unraveling. Maher went straight to the deepest wound: homelessness. Billions spent. Tents still everywhere. Excuses piled up. Courts, inflation, bureaucracy. Maher shut it down. You're the governor. If California can't fix this, who can? Silence. Newsom argued compassion. Maher replied without blinking, compassion without results is failure. Then came public safety, robberies, looting, businesses fleeing. This isn't perception, Maher said. It's daily life. Stats didn't save him. You've lost trust. That was the line that stuck. Viewers said it out loud for millions. California's glow has become a mask for dysfunction. The clip went viral because it wasn't rage, it was exhaustion. Maher wasn't attacking ideals. He was demanding competence. And when criticism comes from your own side, it hits harder. Newsom walked in as a rising star. He walked out exposed. The question lingered long after the cameras cut. If you can't fix California, how can you fix America?